Hello, Christian Choir. This is Level 16 Music Theory Review. The one concept in Level 16 is triad inversion symbols, notating and recognizing inverted tonic triads in the major and minor keys. As of Level 15, we learned about the different scale degrees and their music names. Remember that the tonic is the 1. It is the root of the chord. It is the do of the scale. So our first inversion, the third of the triad, is notated by a 6 after the Roman numeral, and the second inversion, the 5th of the triad in the bottom, is notated by a 6-4 after the Roman numeral. These examples being 1-6 and 1-6-4. Remember that the name of the key is the tonic, the name of the key is the do, even for minor keys. So if you were to have us being in B flat major, that means the tonic is the B flat note. If we were in C minor, that means that C would be our tonic note. And remember, of course, that a triad should be every other letter in the alphabet. C, E, G, D, F, A, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at this first example. I'm going to zoom it out, and I'm going to read through it all before we do it. So notating the tonic triad in the major key. We'll look at that example. We can notate and see that we are in the key of G major. G major has one sharp in it, and that is F sharp. It is asking us to find the second inversion, which means the 5th is in the bottom, of that tonic triad. So we name the key. In this example, it is G, the root of the triad. The triad spelling would then be G, B, and D. 1, 3, 5. The second inversion means that the 5th is in the bottom. The 5th of this triad is D, G, B, D. So then all that we have to do is put those 3 notes on the staff. Doesn't really matter which octave that it is in, and you have to make sure that the D note is on the bottom. Looking in this example right here, the answer, there's our D in the bottom, there's our G, and there's our B. A 1, 6, 4 in the key of G major would be D, G, and B. The same thing also applies for the minor keys. It is in the exact same key signature if we were in major, but we're looking for a minor key. The minor is symbolized by a lowercase Roman numeral 1, which is an I. So the relative minor of G major, you have to count down 3 half steps, G, F sharp, F, and E. We got to think like we're in the key of E minor. E minor, again, has 1 sharp in it, and it is F sharp. And we're looking for the second inversion, which means the second note of the triad is on the bottom. So we've named the key. The key is E minor. It is the root of the triad. That triad spelling would then be E, G, B. I'm going to zoom in this time and do it. E, G, and B. That is our regular tonic triad in the minor key of E. The first inversion means that the 3rd is on the bottom, and we know it's the first inversion because of the 6 behind the Roman numeral, so the G would be on the bottom. So then, all that we would have to do is draw that triad with the G on the bottom, then you would go B, then you would go E. Funny thing is this example is incorrect. This is not written with the G on the bottom. This is written with the B on the bottom. This would be the second inversion. The first inversion would be with the G on the bottom. So we would write G, then it would be B, then it would be E. This is the first inversion. This would be the second inversion, the 6-4. Let's go through and do these first couple of examples together. While it says major or minor, I want us to do both the major and the minor so that we can get the hang of this. So this first example, again, in the major is G major. It has 1 sharp and it is F sharp. So that means we can go ahead and write that chord out. I always like to write the regular chord out. G, B, D. We are in second inversion. Second inversion means that the fifth of the note is on the bottom. So that means that the D would be on the bottom. So I'm going to erase this and scoot it a little bit closer. So D is on the bottom, followed by G, and then B. So this would be the 1, 6, 4. Now in the minor key, I'm going to draw a line so that we know that it's the minor key. The minor key, we would have it as E minor. That would be E minor, and it's looking for the second inversion. So that example that we just did earlier, that what was written there is what we are looking for. Second inversion means that the B would be on the bottom, so that would be B, E, and then G. Going on to this next example, identify the key signature with the major key. We'll look at that next to last flat. That is E flat major. So that means that the first note of that triad is going to be E flat, G, and then B flat. Now here's the thing. You, at this point, do not have to put the flat symbols next to those notes. And the reason is because it is already written in the key signature that is provided for you. So you can just write E, G, B, and that would be 100% correct, since those flat symbols are already provided for you in the key signature. We're looking for the first inversion. First inversion meaning the G is on the bottom, so I'm just going to erase that bottom note and then write that E up top. That would be the 1, 6 of E flat major. The relative minor of E flat is C minor. So we're looking for the tonic triad inversion of C minor. So that would be C, E, and G for the regular triad. Looking for that second inversion, we're going to take that C off the bottom and draw a ledger line and put that C all the way up top. What you could also do is just write the E down below, G, and then do the C there if you wish to erase. Either would be correct. It does not matter which octave. I'm actually going to erase the first one that I did, because ledger lines can get a little confusing sometimes. Going on to the next example. First inversion of the major key being oddball F, F major. So that would be F, A, C. First inversion means that the middle note is on the bottom, so you erase the bottom note and put that F up top. The relative minor of F major is D minor. Looking for that D minor. So D, F, A. First inversion, that means that the F would be on the bottom. So we will move that D all the way up to the top, and that would be the minor. What I want you to do right now, go ahead and pause the video, finish these last 3 examples. Technically it will be 6. I want you to do them in the major keys, find the relative minor keys and do them in the minor keys. Once you've done that, play the video. Let's see if you get them right. Here we go. No sharps, no flats. That means we're in the key of C major. So you can go ahead and write that. I'm going to do it on the ledger line. So it's going to be C, E, and G. We're in the second inversion, so that means that the G is on the bottom. So I'm going to rewrite that as G, C, E for the major. The relative minor of C major is A minor. A would be our bottom note, so we have A, C, and E. But we're looking for the second inversion, so that means that the fifth of the triad is on the bottom, meaning that E. So if the E is on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it down the octave to make it easier. So that would be E, then A, and C. And that is our second inversion of both C major triad tonic and our A minor tonic triad. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps in the key signature. Look at the last sharp, go up one. We're in the key of B major. So the tonic triad would be B, D, and F. Looking for that first inversion. That means that the D would be on the bottom. So you can erase that B and go ahead and write it up the octave, which would be right there. Because that's getting into the ledger lines, you could also write it down the octave. So that would be D, F, and then a B right there. Either of those would be correct. The relative minor of B major is G sharp minor. Again, we're looking for that first inversion. So G sharp would be G sharp, B, and D sharp. First inversion, meaning the B is on the bottom. So we'll erase that lowest note, draw it up the octave. First inversion of G sharp tonic triad is B, D sharp, and G sharp. Last example, we've made it. This time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sharps. Look at the last one go up. We're in the key of F sharp major. Looking for the second inversion of the tonic triad of F sharp major. So that would be F sharp, A, and C sharp. Second inversion means that the fifth of the chord, the third note of the triad, is on the bottom. So you can go ahead and erase those bottom two notes and take them up the octave. So that would be F sharp, and then you have to draw a ledger line to get that A sharp. The relative minor of F sharp major is D sharp minor. So that means that the tonic, the root of that is D, D sharp, F sharp, and A. We're looking for the second inversion, so that means that the top note of the chord, the A, would be on the bottom. So we can go ahead and erase those bottom two notes, take them up the octave, so that would be D sharp and F sharp up top. That is everything on level 16. Once you get the hang of this concept, it's pretty straightforward and simple. You've just got to make sure that you know that that first inversion is with the third in the bottom and the fifth inversion, and that the second inversion is with the fifth in the bottom.